Hey everyone, welcome back to another Mattel Jurassic World Dominion review. Today we're going to take a look at the new Dino Pack, Dr. Alan Grant and Dimetrodon. This Dino Pack set is part of Wave 2. I ended up getting this set from Big Bad Toy Store. They're also available on Amazon. I'll leave links to both those sites down below in the description. And I'm sure it's just a matter of time before these figures actually start showing up in stores. This is a set I was really looking forward to, mainly for the Dr. Grant figure. It's nice to have an older Grant now that he's showing up in Dominion. And, Dr. Grant figures, especially in the mainline, have been pretty hard to come by. He saw a Legacy Collection release and he came out in a couple other packs, but he's been pretty much non-existent on the shelves for a few years now, and his old Legacy Collection figure actually goes for a pretty penny up until that Hammond Collection version of him releases. And the Dimetrodon, even though it's pretty much exactly the same as the Extreme Damage one, minus the Battle Damage feature, I actually like this one better than the Extreme Damage one. It's much more natural looking with the colors, but yeah, pretty cool set, and I'm finally glad to have it in hand. Now let's just go over the package really quick before we crack this set open. You got the Dominion logo down here in the corner, Rexy in the back at the nighttime sky with the helicopter chasing Rexy, blah blah blah, spinning around. You get a picture of Alan Grant holding that dinosaur skull and neck. It looks like he's just gonna go feed it to the Dimetrodon. Over here in the corner is the other figure available in the set, the previously reviewed Kayla Watts and Pyroraptor. So that will do it for the packaging. Let's crack the set open and take a closer look. And let's have a nice 360 degree view of this set. So this is the fourth set of Dino Pack figures we've gotten so far in Dominion. And I have to say, it is my favorite one so far. I really like the Claire and the Dilophosaurus set. But this one is on a whole different level. I love how the Dimetrodon came out, even though it's pretty much exactly the same mold as the Extreme Damage one. Just that subtle color change makes the animal look much more realistic. The body on the Extreme Damage one was bright green. This one is just more of like a greenish gray color, looks much more reptilian. The orange is a little bit more subdued, has a much more natural pattern on the sail, and I think Old Man Grant looks great. I love the jacket on him. He has some really nice paint apps. Could add a little bit more paint to his beard and here, but it's kind of like just a minor complaint. The Mattel human figures are pretty much basic, but I could have used just a little bit more attention. But I'm sure maybe somewhere down the line we'll probably get a Hammond Collection release of Old Man Grant. And that little skull accessory is a neat little thing. I like getting little bits and pieces of dinosaurs for my diorama displays. The skull is really interesting looking. It has a very, very derpy looking lower jaw, but other than that, a neat accessory that I was not expecting. So yeah, all around a really good set so far. The best of the Dino Pack sets in my opinion. And now time for some quick measurements. The Dimetrodon is 7.5 inches long, or 19 centimeters, and about 3.5 inches tall to the top of the sail, just under 9 centimeters. So the largest species of Dimetrodon was around 15 feet long, or 4.5 meters. So I'll put this figure somewhere in the 124 scale range. And Dr. Alan Grant is your standard 3 3/4 inch figure, which means he has 118 scale. And now let's first take a look at Grandpa Grant, and let's just take out the old Legacy Collection Alan Grant figures. So pretty cool. You can display how he appeared in Jurassic Park, all those years later, how he looks in Dominion. So now let's get younger Grant off to the side. So yeah, really, really nicely done figure. The jacket is nicely detailed. It's a very cowboy look to him. And let's just zoom in and take a look at the face. The face is nicely done. Like I said, the paint apps on the beard and here are just a little bit lacking. Just wish there was maybe a dry brush on the color, but I'm probably just asking way too much from Mattel with that. Just the way the light hits him, sometimes it looks like he doesn't have eyebrows, but they are painted there. You can see them, they're painted in white paint. The hat is nicely sculpted. Going down to the jacket, you do have some paint on the collar. His pockets and buttons are all nicely sculpted in. He has a nice blue shirt underneath. His belt buckle is painted brown with a silver buckle. Hands are nicely sculpted and painted. Going down to his gray pants, those are also nicely done, and some nice brown shoes are also nicely painted. Now for articulation, Head can move side to side, is on a ball joint. You get a little bit of the wiggly waggly. Arm can go out 360 degrees, just about 90 degrees of bend at the elbow. You do have a hinge, you can move the elbow side to side. He can do the full splits. If I did that, I would just tear something in half. The knee can bend at 90 degrees, and there's also a hinge joint on the knee. And of course, he does have waist articulation. So yeah, all in all, a really nice Grant figure. I like to, hopefully get a Jurassic Park 3 version of him, so we're going to have, Grant throughout all the movies. I'm sure once Mattel gets done with The Lost World, we'll probably start seeing them do some JP3 stuff. And for the last thing that comes with Grant, we have this little dinosaur skull and neck accessory. Like I said, it's very derpy look, especially that lower jaw. It's very thin and weird. Maybe this makes an appearance in the movie. I don't know. I guess we'll know in a week or so. But, a decent little accessory. You do get some articulation on it. It is nicely sculpted. It's the same, color plastic they used with the T-Rex skull that came with the old Maisie figure. So yeah, fun little accessory. I like it. And now moving on to the Dimetrodon. Like I said, just this color palette swap really makes this figure look absolutely incredible. Love the head sculpt. The eyes painted yellow with a slit pupil, nicely printed eyes on kind of on both sides. As like I said, I get a little bit nervous when I order figures online because Mattel is just terrible with the quality control on the eyes. This one isn't misprinted terribly, just a little bit, but not enough to totally piss me off, but still a little disappointing to see. You do have some nice brown markings on the fenestra and in the orbit. Teeth are nicely painted in off-white color. Inside the mouth, you can see some nice glossy pink paint for the tongue and back of the throat, and the gums, roof of the mouth is just a base, grayish green coloration for the rest of the body. Let's stop my caffeine riddled hands from shaking. A lot of nice scale detail all over the head and around the whole body. Of all these large osteoderms that start at the neck that go all the way down the flanks of the body to pretty much the end of the tail. The sail has some nice texture on it. It's a light, not as bright orange as it is on the extreme damage one, and this has a different pattern. And the way the light hits it, you can see some really nice scale detail on the sail. Came out really nice. You got some brown paint actually on the body to blend in with the coloration. Right here is the scan code for those who want to scan it into the fax app. Going down to the feet, very powerful and muscular looking. None of the toe claws are painted, pretty typical for a lot of Mattel figures. Underside, nicely sculpted, a lot of fine scale detail. And then going down to the tail, we already looked at those little osteoderms for articulation. Head can move side to side, can move down, it can move up, and the jaw can open up about that wide. Front legs can move forwards and backwards. And are they on a hinge like the Battle Damage one? No, they are not. These are different legs, I believe. I did not notice that before I started doing the review. Hind legs can move backwards, which are really tight on mine, and forwards. They have that little locking point to keep them in that neutral position. So yeah, all in all, really like this Dimetrodon. Definitely my favorite of the few that we have now. Moving on with comparisons, first up here is the extreme damage Dimetrodon. You can see the night and day difference between the colors. I really like this figure, but I like the more subdued colors on here. It makes it look more natural and realistic to me. And like I said, when I was doing the review, I noticed that the front arms, even though they're sculpted pretty much exactly the same, they're missing the hinge joint that are actually on the extreme damage figure. I don't know why they're on this figure, even though they're almost like pretty much exactly the same mold. But sorry, Grant, yeah, they're not on this one. Very odd and peculiar. So yeah, that's another difference between these two figures besides the battle damage action. And let's do a couple smaller dinosaurs. Here is the Dino Pack Dilophosaurus, and here is the craptastic Legacy Collection Cosmoceratops. And next up is his wave mate, the Pyroraptor. And let's do a couple raptors because Grant loves raptors. Here is the Extreme Damage Velociraptor, and here is the Hammond Collection Raptor. And next up is the Hammond Collection Parasaurolophus. And next up is the Massive Action Yangchuanosaurus. And lastly, here is Rexy. So final thoughts on the Dr. Grant and Dimetrodon set. Like I said, it's my favorite of the current Dino packs in Dominion. Love how the Dimetrodon turned out. Just that simple color swap really makes the figure look more lifelike. Old Man Grant also looks good. You know, just a couple minor things, just like maybe a little bit more paint on the beard. Wish they went with gray instead of white. It probably would have looked a little bit more defined. And I like this little skull accessory, even no matter how derpy and stupid it looks. It's always fun to get like a out of the box accessory with these figures. So yeah, all around, it's a really good set, and I can see it being popular because Grant is probably one of the most popular characters besides Ian Malcolm in the franchise. So I can see this set also being quite popular. And like I said at the beginning of the review, got this set from Big Bad Toy Store. It's also available on Amazon. It retails for $14.99. Link to both those sites are down below in the description. So that will do it for the review. Still waiting on the PNSO Cineraptor and Acrocanthosaurus to come in. Namu Parasaurolophus should be here soon. And I'm sure more Wave 2 Dominion figures will be hitting the shelves really soon, with the release date being less than a week away now. And remember, if you're enjoying the content on this channel, show your support by hitting that subscription button just below the video. Each subscription helps out the channel tremendously, and it's greatly appreciated. And I'll see you guys for the next one.